Now in this video, we're going to talk about Ronnie Coleman's secret of looking big and being so strong that you can leg press 1000 kgs. I'm going to give you one exercise which he did in his training programs all of the time. Okay, I mean literally all of the time. And that is not such a fancy exercise, it's a traditional exercise which you need to do in your training program. Now that is a bit of a controversial exercise, and I'm going to give you another derivative if you don't want to do that particular exercise. I'm going to give you my reasons why I don't recommend that doing that exercise all the time or to certain people. What's up guys, welcome to another video at Movement Mechanics. And also let's understand how you can leg press 1000 kgs because Ronnie Coleman did it. So let's dive deep inside this topic and understand some movement mechanics. When we talk about Ronnie Coleman, he never did fancy sort of exercises. He believed in strong compound lifts such as the squats, the deadlifts, etc. And his programs were designed based on these set of exercises itself. And this is one of the key reasons why that guy is so big, so humongous, and he is so utterly strong. Now in this video, we're going to talk about the deadlift. Now deadlift is one of the most fundamental exercise to do and one of the most benefited exercise to do for your entire body and not just lower body. It is a beautiful exercise to target your posterior chain if done it correctly. If you don't do your deadlift correctly, then there are going to be various lower back injuries which we are going to cover in the later half of this video. So when we are talking about a conventional deadlift, two of the most important characteristics when it comes to the conventional deadlift is bar placement and your hinging patterns. If you know these two aspects very well, then you can deadlift conventionally. On the other hand, if you don't know these aspects properly, or if you don't want to put much of pressure or much of stress on your spine, then there is a derivative of the deadlift which is the trap bar deadlift. Now some people are against trap bar deadlift and some aren't. Now I'm from those persons who isn't against trap bar deadlift. And to be honest, I rarely program conventional deadlifts to most of my athletes and clients. The reason is, it is very difficult to do conventional deadlifts, and if you mess up that lift even slightly, you're gonna screw your lower back and your spine is going to get damaged for sure when you're lifting heavy weights. Now when we are talking about a trap bar deadlift, the range of motion is slightly reduced, your hinging pattern is also slightly reduced, and because of that it becomes much of a safer exercise for your spine. The pressure on the spine or the stress onto the spine is reduced because of the angle, the range of motion, etc. Now on the other hand, the conventional deadlift has got a lot of range of motion going on. You literally start from the bottomest portion of your hinging pattern. Now at that time, if your hinging pattern isn't right, if you are not able to hinge properly, if you are not able to fire your glutes properly, and also if you are not able to lift the bar properly, keeping your spine neutral, not rounding it or not arching it, also your hip and the bar coordination is there, then that deadlift is perfect. On the other hand, if any one of this factor is missing, then you are going to screw up your body. You're going to have some sort of injury. So Ronnie Coleman did the conventional deadlift and he did it perfectly. He used to deadlift massive amount of weight and his body suited it because he was so huge. He had so much of muscle mass, he had so much of strength, and his body could sustain all those shear forces coming from the deadlift. And also his form and technique was brilliant in order to do the deadlift. Now what should you choose for yourself? Should you choose the conventional deadlifts or should you choose the trap bar deadlift? Now the big question to ask over here is, what is your goal? Now the trap bar deadlift also satisfies most of your goals, though it is not as best as a conventional deadlift, but then the risk to reward ratio of the conventional deadlift is very high onto the risk side. As compared to the risk to reward ratio of the trap bar deadlift is very high onto the reward side. Okay, now the trap bar deadlift is going to target your posterior chain, same as your conventional deadlift. Only the range of motion is slightly reduced and the pressure on the spine is slightly reduced, which is a benefited point or the positive point of the trap bar deadlift. Now, coming to the choosing option, now if you don't know the hinging pattern well, or you don't want your athletes or your clients to have immense amount of pressure on their spine, and then go for your trap bar deadlift. On the other hand, if you're a big fan of deadlift, because there are some guys who just want to deadlift no matter what, okay, and they aren't wrong. It is one of the most fundamental exercise out there in the exercise bank of each and every strength and conditioning coach or each and every client or just a normal guy who is going to a gym. So of course you want to deadlift, but then if you want to start deadlifting, you should have these pointers. First, your form, your technique should be extremely clean, crystal clear. There should be no problems when you are going to lift heavy. Everything should be in harmony. Your bar, your hip lift, your back, your neutral spine position, etc. Then the activation of your glutes, your posterior chain has to be there. You cannot lift the deadlift with your anterior chain, with your quads. You have to engage your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, your calves, your entire back, everything has to be engaged. Because remember, this is not a lower body exercise, this is a full body exercise. You're going to work on each and every aspect of your posterior chain. Also, you're going to work on your core, which I'm going to cover in a minute in this video, and that is a very interesting fact which you want to know from Ronnie Coleman's training programs. Okay, now you're going to engage your core, you're going to engage your quads, and everything is going to get engaged. So you need to be really crystal clear of your technique. Then you should be able to understand where your spine is, where your hip is, what is the angle at which you are starting your deadlift or you're lifting that bar off the ground. It has to be in a 45-degree angle. Anything wrong with that angle, then you're going to screw up your back or you're going to have some sort of injury here and there. So your lifting angle is extremely critical. Last but not the least, your hip lift and the bar coordination is very critical. You shouldn't lift your hips before the bar goes off the ground. It should be either in harmony or slightly the bar should be ahead of your hip lift so that at the end it comes in harmony. So if you're going to tick all of these pointers, then you're good to go for your deadlift. If you're not taking any of these pointers, learn them and slowly you can progress with your weights and slowly you can progress towards you maximizing the benefits out of your deadlift. Till then you can just do the trap bar deadlift and adhere the same benefits of the posterior chain muscles, and with the trap bar deadlift you can learn the deadlift mechanics, you can learn the deadlift forms, etc. Alright, now Ronnie Coleman had massive abs. He had the best looking abs in bodybuilding history. Now, he has done many sort of exercises for training his abs, and I've covered lots of Ronnie Coleman's favorite exercises which he used to do in his time for training his six-pack abs. But then there is this factor of compound exercises which we all neglect, that if you're going to deadlift, if you're going to squat, if you're going to jerk, if you're going to do RDLs, etc., you're going to train your abs way better than your crunches, Russian twist, etc. When your Ronnie Coleman used to deadlift, his core was getting engaged and his abs were getting trained at that time as well. And that is the benefit which Ronnie Coleman had over other athletes in his era, because most of these guys didn't prefer doing compound conventional lifts, but they preferred more of isolative lifts, and that is where people lag. And that is where athletes lag, that is where clients and that is where coaches also lag. Never go for isolated exercise when it comes to your core. The core's job is stabilization of the spine, posture maintenance, force transference, and then it comes to spinal flexion and other aspects. But if you want the core to do its job, then compound lifts are the best. And if you want to train your abs, then go for your compound lifts. Of course, you are going to do your isolative lifts as well for your abs. You are going to do your Russian twist, you are going to do your leg throws, you are going to do your hanging leg raises, etc. But with that, if you are going to do compound lifts, deadlifts, squats, jerks, RDLs, etc., then you're going to get maximum benefit when it comes to your core training or when it comes to your six-pack abs gains, as Ronnie Coleman did from his training programs. Alright guys, that was the deadlift which Ronnie Coleman did in his training programs, and I personally love you guys doing the deadlift or its derivative, the trap bar deadlift, in order to train your entire body, in order to train your core with compound lifts, which is the best way to train your abs. So if you have loved this video, make sure to like, the share, the subscribe, as well as the notification bell icon, so that you never miss a video whenever I'm uploading a new one. Also, if you have got any doubts or any comments regarding this video or any other video suggestions which you want me to come in the future, make sure to drop them in the comment section. Also, one humble request from this video is what sort of deadlift you do or what sort of deadlift you are aspiring to do in the future, make sure you drop that as well. Whether you are going to do the strap bar deadlift or you're going to do the conventional deadlift. Drop your comments, guys. And till then, see you in the next one.